Here we go. What's going on, guys? Sam here, and today I am joined by, once again, Mike from Unboxing Bros, and we are going to bring to you No Mercy 2016 review. Now, guys, No Mercy was quite a pretty good pay-per-view. It was better than at least Clash of Champions, which was done by Raw last month. And can I say that man, I was blown away by it. It was quite a good pay-per-view. There was a few matches there where I wasn't too happy about, but other than that, it was great. What did you think of it, Mike? Can you hear me, sir? Mike? Okay, Mike is not with us at the moment, but guys, man, it was a great pay-per-view, and it started off with the kickoff show. We had Mr. Kurt Hawkins walk out into the ring and basically say, I am going to have my first match on SmackDown, and then left. The funniest thing of that segment was in the background, you saw a sign that says Hawkins versus Fears Grim. Now, if none of you know, Grimm's Toy Show is one of my favorite channels. It is actually a whole wrestling channel, basically, of indie wrestlers, and it was such a such a funny thing to see. I was talking to him on Twitter last night. It was pretty good. And then we had 8-man tag match pitting Team American Alpha and the Hype Bros against the Ascension and the Vaudevillains. I didn't really pay attention to the match. I do know that the Hype Bros and Team Alpha won. It was just your normal 8-man tag, which to me was a bit disappointing. So then we go into the main card, and I was quite surprised at how they started the pay-per-view. They actually started with the main event. I think Mike is with us now. Can you hear us, Mike?
Yeah, I can hear you again, man. Sorry, dude.
Oh.
It's just been issues, man.
Yeah.
People have been texting me and stuff.
Yeah, no problems, man. Yeah, I can hear you now loud and clear. What I was saying was, how was your weekend? What did you think of the main pay-per-view?
It was good, man. I could have done without 2 matches, but other than that, it was a great pay-per-view altogether.
Yeah.
Sorry,
yeah,
I'm
same
outside
here, man.
doing stuff.
Yeah, same here. There was a few matches there where I wasn't too happy with, but other than that, it was pretty good. It was pretty good watching. So, I've just gone through the pre-show, and now we're going to go through into the main card. I'm going to explain the matches, who won, and what you thought about it, and then what I thought about it, or what I thought about it, and what you thought about it, and we'll see what happens. So basically, the first match was the main event. So it was John Cena versus Dean Ambrose versus AJ Styles. Now, this match was phenomenal. I really, really enjoyed it. I actually ranked this match a 10 out of 10. It was action-packed. It had John Cena German suplexing both of them across the ring. It had AJ Styles doing a 450 flip off the top rope. It had, oh my goodness, it was just jam-packed. In the end, we saw AJ Styles win with the chair. Now, for me, that was a bit of a kick in the guts for a great match. The ending was a bit like, oh, okay, so he's just ended it with a steel chair to John Cena, when he could have ended it with like a Styles Clash or something. It was quite a rushed finish. But other than that, the match was amazing. And I was sort of like, okay, they've had one really, really good match now. Let's just hope the next match doesn't destroy it. And it did. Mike, what did you think of the first match of the night?
First match of the night was great, other than the ending. Like you said, it was a little rushed. I felt like maybe a Styles clash, or maybe even a throw Cena out of the ring and then pin Dean Ambrose for the win. That's what I would have done instead of taking the cheap shot finish with the steel chair and taking over the win.
Yeah,
but it was a great match.
Yeah, that's it, man. It was fantastic. I really, really enjoyed it. But yeah, that ending was my downfall, to be honest. But then at the same time, it just propels AJ Styles to that level now where he's pinned John Cena 3 times. At the last 3 pay-per-views, he's pinned John Cena. So it's like, okay, I am the face of the company now. No one has ever been able to do what I've done. So it's quite a chip on his shoulder now. Puts a chip on his shoulder now for the future. I don't think he's going to lose the title anytime soon. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens on SmackDown. But my prediction was AJ Styles, so I won that prediction. What was your prediction for that match?
Styles still winning. I commented on your YouTube page as well. Styles would win.
Yeah.
I think all of our predictions rang true except for the thing between Alexa Bliss and what's her name? Becky Lynch. Yeah. There's no
so then, with that match, Becky Lynch couldn't perform because of medical issues. So basically, they had to can the match, but Alexa Bliss still gets a title match, but that it will be on the 8th of November in Glasgow, Scotland, which will be very interesting. I'm very excited about that. But talking about Alexa Bliss, she did have a match against Naomi, and I was actually quite happy with the way that it ended. I was happy that Naomi got the win on that. It sort of introduces her into the title picture. Will they have a triple threat match on the 8th, or will they have a triple threat match at Survivor Series? We'll just have to wait and see. But other than that, I really thought that was a okay match. It actually showed both of their potentials, and especially Naomi's. Naomi's been on the back burner for quite a while, and now to see her actually start to come up, and some of the moves that she did was quite phenomenal. So anyway, so the second match of the night was Nikki Bella versus Carmella. This match made me fall to sleep. I actually went to the toilet twice in this match. I did all the stuff I needed to do throughout the day during this match because it was just a bore. I didn't really enjoy it at all. Nikki Bella's in-ring skills aren't the greatest. Carmella, she is good, but she isn't always on top of things. There were quite a few botches throughout the match. I actually predicted that Carmella would win to certify her as a heel, but Nikki Bella won in the end. I think mainly because that they're trying to get this new Total Bellas a bit more traffic to their show. But other than that, the match, was an absolute ball. What did you think of that match, Mike?
I would go worse than what you said. I'm going to keep it kind of nice here. I'm going to say it was mainly, let's see what I can do if you can match me, yada, yada, yada. It was boring. Carmella was lacking in the ring. There's a lot of missed spots. There's a lot of botch spots. Nikki, you could tell that she has a little bit of ring rust still, even though she did have the win. It was a catastrophe. And to be the second match following the main event of the night, it was a really, really big letdown for the whole, I would say, for the whole viewing audience and the people there in the arena. They shouldn't have to watch that.
I think if they had have put it to midway, it would have been a lot better. But putting it straight after after a fantastic match for a main event, and then to have it just really put down the whole revenue of the actual match. So it was quite a disappointment, but in the end, and you can't really you can't really say too much about it, but it was not at all. I would actually pin it as maybe second worst match of the night. I'll get to the worst match later on. Well, what I thought was the worst match later on.
And I know which match you probably think was the worst match of the night, and I will probably disagree with that because I thought this match was the worst of the night. The other match you're probably referring to, I'm not going to say any names yet, but that match right there had maybe not as many blown spots, and they're trying to push this guy, and I don't think they should. He was not great in coming up from NXT, and I don't think he's great now. I don't think they should actually be pushing him. So we will spoil that a little bit later on, but continue on, sir.
So the next match we had was the Tag Team Championship match between Rhyno and Slater versus the Usos. I actually pinned the Usos to win this match. They did not. It was a great match. I was quite surprised with how Heath Slater actually got quite a lot of ring time, doing the whole move, the suplex or the belly suplex from the middle rope. It was a great match. It ended, I thought the Usos were going to win it at one point there, but then it ended with Rhyno doing the gore and pinning, I don't know if it was Jimmy or Jay, either one of them, pinning one of them for the win. So Rhyno and Slater won. I thought it was quite a good match. It sort of made me go, okay, all right, we got some stuff coming now. Like they've learned from their mistakes and they're going to pick it back up. So it was a good match, and it sort of got me looking forward to the rest of the pay-per-view. What were your thoughts on that one?
My thoughts on that match were it was awesome. I'm glad Jimmy and Jay did not win the titles. I didn't predict them to win it. I predicted Ryan and or Heath and Rhyno to go over. One-man Rhyno should be going on for a little while longer, I think. And when people call it the Heath Slater Rhyno deal, I call it the one-man Rhyno because of the fact that, you know, it is the one-man band and Rhyno. I do think that, however, the way they ended it was very, very well done with Rhyno goring, I think it was Jimmy, then he gored Jay inside the ring, and I was like, this match is awesome. And everybody was chanting ECW and Rhyno, and I mean, it was just like, yes. Please a little bit longer.
Yeah, it was a fantastic match. I really enjoyed it. It could have gone for a bit longer, but in the end, it proved to be great. So, the next match on the card was Baron Corbin versus Jack Swagger. Now, for me, this was the worst match of the night. Now, the reason being is that, like, my pick was Baron Corbin. They're wanting to push Baron Corbin into either the Intercontinental Championship or for the WWE Championship, probably the Intercontinental Championship. I don't think he deserves it. I don't think he should have a run as Intercontinental Champion yet. He hasn't proved himself yet. They're looking for something to do with him. They can't really do much with him because he's quite a big wrestler, and I don't understand why he can't go over like Kane and that. He's got great potential, but his in-ring skills are just are not great. This match was very botchy, and it was just not the best match. So they've done a really, really good match, really, really crappy match, pretty good match, then a really, really crappy match again, and it was just hit and miss the whole night. What did you think about that one?
What I thought about it, honestly, man, was it was garbage. It was the worst match of the evening. I actually almost fell asleep watching this at 4:00 in the morning. Yeah. With that being said, the only thing that was great about it was Jack Swagger looked strong until the very end. However, it could have been the other way around, in my opinion, because Swagger deserves to be pushed and not Baron Corbin.
Yeah.
But with that being said, Baron Corbin is going to get pushed ungodly because he is a bigger guy, and Vince McMahon likes the bigger guys. I'm not a fan of that. I don't think it's right. I think he should be looking at the wrestlers and perspective and taking a look at what they can do in and outside that ring. And I still think that Baron Corbin has a lot of ring rust and a lot to work on. Yeah, he's a big guy. Yeah, he has the talent. But his talent right now is lacking, and his size is trying to make up for it. And let's be honest, it's not that great. I hate to say it, the end of days, come on. The guy looks like a one-man wrecking crew with a tattoo of a heart in the middle of his chest, like something came out of a dope show. I'm not trying to down the guy. I'm really not. Everybody's like, my friends are like, oh, man, you got to give him props. You got to give him a chance, man. You got to do this. I did give him a chance. Every match he had in NXT.
They should have done something.
30 seconds.
They should have done something with him after winning the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. I thought they were. It looked promising, but then all of a sudden it fell flat, and this is the first time we've seen him in the ring for a while, and it was just not great at all. I was not impressed. But let's get on to the next match, which was, I would have to say, the match of the night. This match blew my flipping mind. It was so good that I was sitting on the edge of my seat and I fell off because of the excitement that I was having throughout the match. It was up and down, left, right, round and round, topsy-turvy. It was just awesome. And I'm talking about the Intercontinental Championship match between The Miz and Dolph Ziggler. And if Ziggler lost the match, he would lose his career. Luckily, he won. But my goodness, he had to work for it. Far out. The match was epic. You had spots where Maurice sprayed Dolph in the eyes with pepper spray, and then The Miz got him with the
SCF.
The SCF, and then basically Dolph had his foot on the rope, so that's how he got out of that pin, and then his shoe came off, and then he super kicked everyone, and everyone got thrown out. It was just an epic match. It was on the edge of your seats. It could have gone longer. I could have watched more of it. I would actually go as far as to say that has put Miz and Dolph Ziggler into the main event status, and that could have been a main event match at WrestleMania. I would go that far to say that was WrestleMania main event status right there. It was one of the best matches I have seen in a very long time. The Miz did such a great job pushing the heel in that match, especially when he was doing all the Daniel Bryan moves and doing the yes. And, oh, man, it was epic. What did you think?
Don't forget the yes kicks, man. You can't forget
the yes kicks were phenomenal as well. Like, there was just so much greatness in that match. And it was just awesome. I really, really enjoyed it. What were your thoughts on that match?
The thoughts of that match was this. I knew it was going to be a little over the top for the finish. I just didn't know how over the top it was. And completely honest, they didn't go as over the top as I thought they would. And I thought that was a great thing to even say for WWE's booking. They let the Spirit Squad come down there and intervene a little bit and have a little bit of a run-in, as you could say. But it wasn't over the top done. Kenny didn't really do a lot of stuff. He just distracted the referee. However, I think his name is Mickey, right? Or Nikki?
Yeah. Mickey.
He got super kicked. Yeah. Yeah, he got super kicked in the face, and I was excited about that. I was like, yeah. And then
Yeah,
because he had no shoe on top of that, he had no shoe on, and he super kicked the guy. And then he super kicked The Miz again. And it was just a great match. It could have went, like you said, it could have went longer. And I would even give it props for it being a WrestleMania main event.
100%.
Yeah. It was that good of a match. Now, with that being said, the first match of the night, which was the actual main event, and this one being halfway through the actual card, I think either one of them could have actually went about 20 minutes longer and got rid of the whole main event entirely, because the next match was the Alexa Bliss match, and I'll let you talk about that, and I'll give you my thoughts on it as well. But the main event could have actually been way shorter had the run-in been done in 10 minutes. That's my whole opinion on that match.
This match here, this Intercontinental Championship match, and this is what I was thinking. I was thinking this would be the main event. This would end the show. I watched this. I saw the end, and I was like, man, this could be the end. I'd be happy if this was it for No Mercy. If this was it for No Mercy, I would be happy. The main event should have been this match. And even Dolph Ziggler said it on Talking Smack afterwards. He said, when can the Intercontinental Championship main event a pay-per-view? And I think he was being dead serious about that. Him and The Miz did such a fantastic job. It was main event status. This has pushed Dolph Ziggler to a point. This whole feud has pushed Dolph Ziggler to a point where now he is noticed. And that's all he's ever wanted in WWE, to be noticed.
Not only that, though, Boz, I'm going to have to stop you on that one. It also made the Intercontinental Championship worth so much more now because you had these two guys going after this title. I think it's worth almost as much as the WWE World Heavyweight title. I know it's worth more than the Universal title and the U.S. title combined.
Yeah.
It really is. I mean, you have the main titles on SmackDown. You have the greatest, if not the greatest wrestler of all time right now in the wrestling business. AJ Styles is your champion. And not only do you have one of the greatest athletes of all time, Dolph Ziggler, as your Intercontinental champion, but you also had The Miz thrown in that mix, and you just add fantastic on top of fantastic. It's sort of like The Rock versus Stone Cold back in the 90s.
Do you think The
most
Miz...
people are like, whoa.
Do you think The Miz will be thrown into main event picture after this match? I think so. But I don't think it will be right now. I think him and Dolph will still have a bit of a feud just to end it off. But even if they didn't fight again, this was a great end to the feud, man. Miz won 3 times with interferences. Dolph Ziggler winning clean like that was just phenomenal. I really, really enjoyed it. I can talk all night about that match. It was in
really
my
good.
opinion, that is even a contender for match of the year, in my opinion.
I agree.
It was phenomenal, man. We then had the match between Naomi and Alexa. I did touch on this a little bit earlier on. The match was pretty good. You had The Miz versus Ziggler, so nothing was going to beat that. I knew nothing was going to beat that for the rest of the night. I was just interested to see why the WWE Championship was put at the front. So my initial thinking was that that we were definitely going to see interference in the Bray versus Randy match, and it was either going to be Sister Abigail or it's going to be Luke Harper. Anyway, this match was very, it was good. It was good in a way where there wasn't many botches. Naomi did some pretty good points in that match as well. Some pretty good spots in that match, especially that splits thing which she did with Alexa Bliss slamming her head into the ground or something, and she did the splits. That was just like, how do you do that? It was a good match. It was a good match coming off of like an adrenaline pumping match like The Miz versus Dolph Ziggler. What were your thoughts?
I thought it was a great match. Alexa looked really, really strong in that match. I thought that maybe she should go over in that match, and they put Naomi over. I was kind of like, okay, I want to see where they go with this, but I'm still kind of bummed they did put Naomi over Alexa, because she has worked her butt off to get to where she's at. I mean,
and I think she's the next. I think she's the next champion. To be honest, she will be the next champion.
I agree with that. And she looked extremely strong until the tantrum at the end of the match. And now I didn't agree with the tantrum. I mean, it looked hot. I'm not going to lie, but I was not enthralled with the actual fact that Naomi stole that victory. I mean, literally, I mean, you could call it a clean victory if you want to, but it was stolen. Everybody's seen it. I seen it. You seen it. It was stolen.
Yeah.
I mean, she locked in, and then all of a sudden she loses by a pinfall. I mean, it was like, yeah, okay, I see the point, but is it worth it? Are you really going to overshadow your number one contender by doing this? Why? I mean, there has to be something behind it. I just don't know what it is yet.
In talking smack afterwards, after the match, Daniel Bryan asked Alexa Bliss, because she was on it, and he said, "Do you think Naomi deserves to be in the number one contendership as well?" And she said, "No, she cheated. She cheated, flat out. She cheated." So they're going with this thing where it's going to push Alexa as the more dominant heel in the women's division for SmackDown. I think that's great. I think that this whole character change that she's had coming out of NXT into WWE SmackDown, and this Harley Quinn like character that she's portraying now, I think it's phenomenal. I'm really, really enjoying it at the moment. So I'm really excited about where it's going to go. The match on the 8th of November, I think, will be a showstopper, a show stealer, if they do it right, and if Becky Lynch, because Becky Lynch is great, but if her head's not in it, she can sometimes get a bit messy. Alexa Bliss, I think, also can be of the same routine as well. If her head's not in it, she can be a bit messy, but I'm hoping that they both talk about the match a bit and really put on a show in Scotland. And then we get into the main event. And to be honest, by this time I was like, there's nothing that's going to be able to take the limelight off of that amazing Intercontinental Championship match. We had Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt. Now, for this match, I actually picked Bray Wyatt to win. The reason being, now, hear me out here, he's had a lot of losses on pay-per-view. They've tried to push him, but then they have put him on the back burner, and it was an okay match. There was some good spots by Bray. There was some good spots by Randy Orton. Definitely not main event worthy. It would have been probably mid-card for my liking. If it was in the mid-card and Intercontinental Championship match was last, then I would have been stoked by it. But the whole match in itself was okay. The ending came when the lights went out. As soon as those lights went out, man, I was like, Sister Abigail's coming. Yeah, well, let's see some death to Randy Orton here. But it happened to be Luke Harper coming out with a bit of an interference. He just stood in the middle of the ring, stared straight at Randy Orton, and then Bray Wyatt came, Sister Abigail, over. And to me, that was a waste of a main event. To me, the match only went for, I think, 10 to 15 minutes. It was not long at all. To me, for the night, the main event was the Intercontinental Championship match. Luke Harper coming back into the Wyatts. He looked like a deranged psychopath, which I think is awesome. I really enjoy Luke Harper's in-ring. He's a great wrestler. He is actually, I think he will be great as the heavy man once again for Bray Wyatt. And hopefully later down the track, we're going to see Sister Abigail, because everyone's been on the pipes for this for so long. You disagree with me. I see you shaking your head. So let us know what you think about the main event and what you thought about Luke Harper coming back.
Well, I knew Luke Harper was coming back to SmackDown. I knew he was cleared from injury. I also know that John predicted him going to Raw, and he's like, "Oh yeah, Luke Harper's going to Raw." I'm like, "No, I knew he was clear coming back to SmackDown." I'm glad he came back to SmackDown. SmackDown needs another big guy like him. Raw don't need him. Now you just have Rowan to come back, and you got the Wyatt family, the original Wyatt family. That's all you need. You don't need a lot of people inside of the actual family anymore. You don't need Sister Abigail like everybody's wanting to have Sister Abigail. Sister Abigail is his finishing move. That's what everybody needs to understand. That is his finisher. If you bring her into the actual fold and actually bring her into the actual family, there is no actual woman that could actually take that role. And I agree with some of y'all saying, like, oh, it could be Alexa Bliss because she is the Harley Quinn of the bunch, and she could be like his Joker to Harley Quinn, and I get it. But let's be real. WWE doesn't see it that way. WWE sees it as a family force. Now, if you bring Alexa Bliss in and you throw a monkey wrench in the mix, they need to go ahead and get a cohesive unit and actually use that unit to its potential and use it to where it should be, up here above your head level, instead of actually mid-card status. When he showed up at the pay-per-view, I was like, oh man, I marked out. I threw my hat down of all things, and I said, this has to be the greatest moment in SmackDown history. And the reason why I say that is, not only did you have a lackluster main event, but you tried to outdo the main event by bringing back one of the main people that made the Wyatt family what it is, Luke Harper. Luke Harper is the best wrestler that came out of the family. I hate to say that. Bray Wyatt is a great in-ring performer. He really is. He truly is.
Oh, he's great, but he's not as good as Luke Harper. Luke Harper outshines him 100%, and that to me is what is, it just doesn't make me happy to see that they push so much for Bray Wyatt to be over, for Bray Wyatt to be the main eventer out of the family. But in the end, the real main eventer should be Luke Harper, and he should be the one who takes the Wyatt family and excels them to a point of Hall of Fame. You know what I mean?
I totally agree with you on that.
Yeah. Man, all in all, I thought the pay-per-view was good. I actually, I was sitting down last night. I was thinking them over because I knew we were going to be doing this live stream, and I thought about it, and I rated it 7.5 out of 10. The only reason I rated it that high would have been because of the Miz versus Ziggler match and the WWE Championship match. They were both 10 out of 10, but then with the rest of the matches in, I had to bring it down a bit. Definitely better than Clash of Champions, which was on earlier this month, later last month or something. That was an absolute drown out. I did not like that pay-per-view at all. But this, like, as far as I am concerned, SmackDown is absolutely destroying Raw at the moment, with ratings and with the matches and with their talents and with their pay-per-views. It was all in all a great pay-per-view. What were your thoughts on the whole pay-per-view in a whole?
Well, considering the fact I watched it late last night, around about 4 o'clock in the morning, 3 to 5 actually, I fell a little asleep and I woke up around about 7 and 8 and finished the rest of it. What you're saying, you gave it a 7.5. I gave it a 7 because I rated the worst two matches as a 1 together. And then the main event, I gave it a 2. So that equals 3 right there. And then you had the tag team match, bumped it up another 3, so they gave it a 6. And you really couldn't outsay, the Intercontinental match outdid the main event match because there were 2 different spots and it was 2 different styles of in-ring action. So I collectively gave it a 7 altogether. And I excluded one match entirely, which was the Alexa Bliss and Naomi match, because I don't know how to feel about that exactly. And that's why I gave it a 7. Now, if I were to include that match, I'd have to give it a 7.5 like you did. The reason I excluded that match because it really held no bearing on the pay-per-view at all. Now, however, if it would have been Becky Lynch versus Alexa Bliss, then I would have gave it a probably even higher rating because it was a championship match, number 1. And number 2, it held accountability for a title run. Potential title run and a title change. Now that we both know that Becky Lynch was out with medical issues, are they going to strip her of the title? We don't know. Are they going to make her fight and lose the title? We don't know. I'm sure
we'll find out by SmackDown this week. So it's going to be very, very interesting. I'm really, really excited. We've got a packed week on in wrestling this week. We have got WWE Raw, which is on today.
It's on live right now. It's on live right now.
Yeah. We have also got SmackDown tomorrow night, and we have TNA and NXT. We will be coming back to all you guys live. It will be me. It will be Mike. It will also be John from Extreme Blogs. We are all going to be coming together, and we're going to be talking about this week in WWE. That will probably be on Friday. This week in wrestling, that will probably be on Friday. This will be episode 2. Please tune in and watch that with us. Dude, thank you so much for joining me. Been great as always. Do you want to plug anything before we go?
Yeah, sure. I can plug some stuff. As you know, we have a 300 subscriber challenge that if by the 28th, which is my birthday, legal birthday, even though I do claim Halloween, I don't know why I wouldn't. If we get 300 subscribers up until that day, I will actually go as Rocky from the Rocky Horror Picture Show. And I'm sorry, I'm using your channel to plug that little bit of input, but
That's
I am.
fun, man.
Oh, it's hilarious. I'm doing it because not only is it funny, but yet it's entertaining. And there's a lot of people out there that would like to see this fat guy right here look like a little skinny blonde guy, transvestite or whatever. But
yeah,
needless to say, I think it'd be fun. I mean, I don't care. I think it'd be fun, entertaining, and it's something to do, and it makes people happy.
Yeah.
At my expense.
It's got to be classic. So, guys, his channel is in the description. Give him a like. Give him a subscribe. Let's get him to 300 subscriptions. And, guys, that is it from me. Don't forget, subscribe for more content. Twitter and Instagram links are all in the description. And don't forget, guys, like always, keep smiling. You are all worth it.